Chapter 9. Methods of Recording Knowledge. Man has the power of speech to communicate with others because he is the most intelligent living being on the earth. He has a well-developed body and mind. Through the ages, he gathered knowledge. He passed on the knowledge to the next generations. In the beginning, it was all done orally. It was not recorded in a written form. Because of this, knowledge was communicated to very few people. Moreover, it was impossible for a person to gain such a vast knowledge. In course of time, human beings developed better methods of recording knowledge. Let us study about how these methods were developed. Writing. The history of writing goes back to the times of early man. The early man used to draw pictures on the walls of the caves. Thus, the first writing was in the form of pictures. Gradually, the pictures were replaced by signs and symbols. The proper system of writing was developed by Sumerians or Mesopotamians, now Iraq. Their writing was in the form of pictures, signs and symbols. They wrote their signs and symbols on blocks of clay. They also developed a script called cuneiform. At the same time, Egyptians also developed their writings. This writing was also in the form of signs and symbols. The Egyptians called their script hieroglyphic. Countries like China and Japan still use signs and symbols in their scripts. These scripts are very difficult as one has to remember and understand thousands of signs and symbols. On the seals of the Indus Valley civilization, the oldest script was found. It has not been read yet. In India, the Brahmi and Kharosthi scripts were developed by the Aryans. Today, most Indian scripts have been derived from the Brahmi script. The Devanagari script, used to write Hindi, has also been derived from the Brahmi script. Today, most languages in the world are based on alphabet. Each letter represents a different sound that humans produce. The Roman script, used to write the English language, has 26 letters. Numbers. It is believed that the early man drew pictures and put dots and dashes on the walls of the caves to record the number of his cattle. Later, he might have used sticks, stones and pebbles for counting. Indians were the first to use fingers for counting. The numbers that we use today and also in most parts of the world belong to the Arabic system. Originally, this system was developed in India about 2000 years ago. The Arabs took it to Europe and from there it spread to other parts of the world. The Arabs still call these numbers Hinsa, which means of India. The most important thing about the Arabic system is that it uses only 10 symbols from 0 to 9 to represent any number, no matter how large it is. The concepts of zero and decimal system were also developed by the Indians. The international system of numerals is thus based on the Indian system. Paper. In ancient times, writing was rendered on clay, barks and leaves of trees. In China, first of all, the art of paper making was developed 2000 years ago. The Chinese soaked old rags in water for a long time and then pulped them. This art spread from China to Iraq and then to the Western countries. The word paper is derived from papyrus, a reed that grows in the delta of the Nile River. The ancient Egyptians used this reed as a writing material. They cut the stalks of papyrus into thin strips and pressed them into sheets. Today, paper is made from wood pulp. Millions of trees are cut down to make paper in big paper mills. Printing. Earlier, the books were written by hand, thus it was a tough and tedious work. The people who wrote books by hand were called scribes. Handwritten books were very rare. They were available only to a few people. About 2000 years ago, the art of printing was developed in China, but it did not become popular. It was Germany where the printing press was invented by Johannes Gutenberg in 1455. The Bible was the first book to be printed in a printing press. It was printed on sheepskin and not on paper as it is done today. Johannes Gutenberg made several small metal molds of the letters of the alphabet. They were called letter types. They could be arranged to make words, lines, and paragraphs, and then pages. This was called typesetting. Ink was applied to the typeset pages and they were pressed by hand on paper to get the impression. Once a book was printed, the typeset pages were taken apart and used to print another book. Gradually, the quality of printing press improved. Now we have very advanced printing technology. Thousands of books and newspapers can be printed overnight. Laser is also used in printing. Books are also typeset on computers and printed on offset printing machines. Thus, the printing press has played a key role in spreading and recording knowledge. Braille, a script for the blind. Louis Braille of France invented a script for the blind people in 1820. Surprisingly, he too was a blind. This script is known as the Braille script. The script has dots which represent letters of each word. These dots are raised from the surface of the paper. Blind people can read this script by putting their fingers on the dots. In the higher and professional education, the blind students can even compete with the normal students. Nowadays, audio cassettes are also available for the blind. These cassettes are called talkie books. Blind people can play them on a tape recorder. Literacy and progress. The progress of a country largely depends upon the literacy rate of the country. The advanced countries have a higher rate of literacy. Unfortunately, literacy rate in India is low due to poverty, population growth, and social backwardness. The government has taken up measures to promote literacy through compulsory and free education to children up to the age of 14 years. The National Adult Literacy Mission and Each One, Teach One are some other programs. Points to remember. The proper system of writing was developed by Sumerians. Cuneiform and hieroglyphic scripts were based on signs and symbols. The international system of numerals is based on the Indian system. Paper is made from wood pulp. Printing press was invented by Johannes